Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavana. In this lecture we are going to continue with the topic that is called as evolution. So in the last class we already have started with the topic called as evolution. This is the most important topic where most NEET questions are asked. As well as evolution, basically it is nothing but evolutionary biology. Means what? Study of life forms on the earth. So basically you will study what are the different, like our ancestors and all. Suddenly we have not originated on the earth. There was early man and numerous Ramapithecus, Dryopithecus. These all are our ancient ancestors. From there only we humans have evolved. So this chapter will deal with the main topic that is called as evolution. So evolution, it is a big process because 400 million billion years ago, 400 billion years. So it has taken place about 400 billion years ago. So 400 billion years means what? Approximately we are, anyone will not know what are the evolutionary things and all. These all are assumptions which are given by the scientists. So whoever will not know what exactly was there, but due to the fossils and all, where we have discovered numerous evidences, by that only we are able to understand basically. So evolutionary biology means it is the study of the life forms of the earth basically. So when we start with the origin of the life, I have already told you in the last class about the origin of the life. So origin of the life, there were four theories which were given by the scientists. So basically origin of life means we should imagine it has evolved some years and millions years ago, as well as we should understand that numerous theories were given about that, like the origin of the galaxy, stars and all. So basically there were four theories which were given. That is nothing but first theory is Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory will explain the origin of the universe basically, how it was evolved and all. Then later, according to Big Bang theory, there was a sudden explosion and numerous substances were formed on the earth. There was sudden explosion means like there was a sudden bomb blast, like that thing. Sudden explosion and numerous small particles were spread on the earth's surface, and then the life was born according to Big Bang theory. So Big Bang theory explains the origin of the universe. Later, hydrogen and helium were found on the earth's crust. Hydrogen, helium, they all evolved. Later, water vapor, methane, then carbon dioxide, ammonia. These four substances, important NEET question. Water vapor, ammonia, methane, carbon dioxide. These are the four substances which are formed from molten mass. Molten mass means the molten mass, a mass like substance was melted, like numerous volcanoes and all. And then water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia, four substances, important NEET question. Like that they were formed. Later in the next stage, basically the UV rays which are coming, means from the sun, before only UV rays were entering the earth through ozone layer, ultraviolet rays will enter. So basically on the earth's crust, no elements were present. Hydrogen and helium, they were normally present, as well as water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia, they are formed from molten mass. By melting of the molten mass, they were formed like rocks and all. So basically ultraviolet rays which are coming from the sun, ultraviolet rays, they will reach the water. They'll reach the water. Then what will happen in this process? When they are reaching the water, This water is basically split into hydrogen as well as oxygen. Like that only oxygen evolved on the earth's surface. Carbon dioxide and all by molten mass. How is oxygen formed on the earth's crust? But in sunlight, when it forms, when it touches the water particles H2O is usually broken down into hydrogen as well as oxygen. Again, oxygen will combine with methane as well as methane or ammonia to form again water as well as carbon dioxide. How much carbon dioxide is there also, still it should be formed. How much oxygen is present also, this all I am saying when it happened first originating, when it was first originating I was saying, not now. Now plants and all will give out oxygen and all. I am not saying about now. I am saying when there was first in the origin of the universe according to Big Bang theory. So this is the theory, Big Bang theory, which explains the origin of the universe. And water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide as well as ammonia. These are the four substances which are formed from molten mass, as well as when UV rays will touches the earth's water is broken down into hydrogen as well as oxygen. Then oxygen already which is formed here, it is combined with ammonia or methane to form H2O and CO2. Don't get confused regarding this. Simply 2 points only you should remember. First, what is the first theory which was proposed about the origin of life is Big Bang theory. That you should remember. Then how is oxygen formed? Water is split into hydrogen, oxygen. That's all. Then how is CO2 water formed? It was formed when oxygen will combine with ammonia and methane. These are the two important points. The third point is, what are the four substances which are formed from molten mass? So water vapor, carbon dioxide, CO2, methane and ammonia. So these are the four substances which are associated. So no need to get confused. Only one theory. About the first theory is Big Bang theory. Then later, the second important theory that came about the origin of life is nothing but, that was given by, I already told you, Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur. So Louis Pasteur told that the life forms came from pre-existing life. So life evolved from pre-existing life forms. Pre-existing. Like what are the pre-existing forms? Like air. He conducted an experiment. Important neat question. So 2 flasks he put, and he put 2 killed yeast in it. Killed yeast in both the containers. So one was totally closed. One was left open to the air. So what happened in this? Basically, when he put the tight packed container, the killed yeast did not give birth to new bacteria or new fungi, it did not give birth. But here the killed yeast, when it was exposed to a container, when air was entering into it, it gave birth to new yeast and all. New yeast were formed here fully. So what is this experiment will prove? Life was evolved from pre-existing organisms. That is the main point you want to discover through air. Life evolved from pre-existing life forms. So through air it was basically done. So this is the second experiment he performed, Louis Pasteur, who gave pasteurization of milk. He also told about the theory of evolution. So this is about the Louis Pasteur. As well as another important point that you should, the third theory. It was given by Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England. So Oparin of Russia as well as Haldane of England, these both people, this is important in Neet point of view. So Oparin of Russia as well as Haldane of England, they also proved that life came from pre-existing molecules. Before one I told you pre-existing life forms, like yeast will give rise to again yeast, pre-existing life forms. But here they are formed from non-living like RNA, proteins and all. So life came from pre-existing forms, that is nothing but RNA as well as proteins. Organic as well as inorganic molecules gave rise to this evolution process. So this is the third theory. Big Bang theory, don't get confused. Big Bang theory, one theory. Second is by Louis Pasteur. Third thing is Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England. All the three, they gave from pre-existing forms only life evolved. But different forms they have specified. Like origin of universe through water, UV rays and all for Big Bang theory. For Louis Pasteur's theory, from pre-existing life forms it have come. Then now for Oparin of Russia and Haldane of England, they gave Haldane of England means he belongs to England. Like that easily you can remember. As well as life came from pre-existing molecules like RNA as well as proteins. So this is the important point that you should remember. So these are the important three theories which were given. The fourth and the last theory which was given in the for the origin of life is nothing but which was given by Miller. Miller, he gave a theory that is called as electric discharge experiment. He performed electric discharge. And in electric discharge experiment, he put a flask. And in the flask, he took 4 molecules called as water vapor, ammonia, methane, as well as hydrogen. Where did you see these 4 molecules? Just now I have specified in Big Bang theory. From molten mass, these 4 substances were evolved. But there, water vapor, ammonia, methane and carbon dioxide. Here it is not carbon dioxide, it is hydrogen. So at 800 degrees Celsius, he put these molecules in a flask and he put electric current in this flask. So what happened? These molecules gave rise to numerous amino acids as well as sugars. Gave rise to amino acids as well as sugars. So when he gave rise to amino acids as well as sugars, this experiment gave rise to numerous molecules. Here also again it is proven that life came from pre-existing molecules only. So that point you should remember. So there are 4 theories. 4 theories will tell the same thing, that life came from pre-existing molecules. Big Bang theory from water vapor, UV rays and all about that. Then Louis Pasteur, pre-existing life forms like yeast, he put 2 flasks and he proved it. The third is Oparin of Russia, Haldane of England. The third experiment was, you see again it was given by the famous scientist that life evolved from non-living substances like RNA, proteins and all. Now fourth theory, important point and Neet point of view. This was given by electric discharge theory, and he put electric current in a flask and he put these molecules. So that's why it is called as electric discharge experiment theory. So in this theory, water vapor, ammonia, methane and hydrogen at 800 degrees Celsius, it gave rise to amino acids as well as sugars. Now in Neet they'll ask you what these 4 molecules you should remember as well as degrees also. Sometimes they were asking 600 degrees, 400 degrees like that. It is 800 degrees. That point you should concentrate, as well as 4 molecules like water vapor, ammonia, methane and hydrogen at 800 degrees Celsius. So this is about the Miller's theory. Next. So we are done with what are the origin of life. Then theories, exact theories were given by, and the most accepted theories were evolutionary theories. They were called as evolutionary theories. Evolutionary theories were given by Charles Darwin. And this is the most accepted theory, Charles Darwin's theory. He went on a ship called as HMS Beagle. Important in each point of view, that's why I'm stressing again. So he went on a ship to a HMS Beagle ship. He traveled full world on a ship basically. So when he traveled, he noticed that all the organisms which are present in the environment, they share common similarities. Not only they share the varying degrees, they share common similarities not only among themselves but also with the life forms that existed millions of years ago. They share common similarities. Not only among themselves. Means similarities they will not find only among themselves but also with the life forms that existed millions of years ago. They share the similarities. Suppose we humans, we share similarities with other humans also. We share because everyone will look almost alike, but we will not share similarities not only among present generation, with the old generation also we share the similarities. That's what he was saying, means we share similarities with our ancestors also. So he was saying the same theory because he traveled on a ship full world and he identified that evolution process is not only the process which shares similarities among ourselves but also with the life forms that existed millions of years ago. Millions and millions also we share common similarities because early man and all. So that he was specifying. As well as he gave that the fitness of the individual is very important. Fitness of the individual. Fitness of the individual means what? That is he referred to it as reproductive fitness, and those who gave basically the fitness of the individual, he told it as reproductive fitness. Reproductive fitness means what? See, he told that basically the nature selects those who leave more progeny than others. So natural selection theory also he gave. Natural selection. These are the most important theories which were accepted basically. That fitness of the individual is very important. Like when the person gets a good amount of clothing, food, shelter and all, then there will be good fitness of the individual. He'll give rise to more progeny. So basically when he give rise to more progeny, then what will happen? The nature will select those people who will give more progeny than others, and they will give rise to new ones. So natural selection, the nature will select those who are who are very fit for the nature only. The nature will select. So this process is called as natural selection. Natural selection or nature selection. The nature will select those who give more progeny, as well as fitness of the individuals, as well as those who will survive for long time only it will select, and who leave more progeny than others only it will also select. So this is about the two theories which he gave. Nothing but natural selection, which will the nature will select the progeny, as well as fitness of the individual is also important in this aspect. So this is about the evolutionary theory which he gave. Next, so seeing this person, another person named as Alfred Wallace. Alfred Wallace. He also seen this person have conducted numerous experiments, and he also told that we share common similarities with our ancestors. He also told the same thing. We share similarities with ancestors. We share similarities with ancestors. He also specified the same thing. So that is the point you should remember. So Charles Darwin, don't get confused. Till now, four theories which we were done. We were very clear about this. Then next about the when you come to evolutionary theories, Charles Darwin, he gave about the fitness of the individual as well as natural selection. He went on a ship called as HMS Beagle, and he told that they share common similarities not only among themselves but also with the people who existed millions of years ago. So, and he gave two theories called as fitness of the individual, which is nothing but reproductive fitness, as well as nature selects those which they want. That is called as natural selection. So, these are the two theories which were given by Charles Darwin. Then later, Alfred Wallace, seeing Charles Darwin, he also shared similarities with the common ancestors. So, this is about the basically evolutionary theories. Then later, I am repeating all this so that it is very important in Neet point of view. That's why I repeated twice for you all regarding this. Then later, what are the evidences of evolution? Evidences of evolution. Evidences of evolution. In the basic evidences of evolution, something should be there, or else simply we can't go and go to 400 billion years back and we can't identify. Simply evolution means evolutionary process of evidences are very important. How are evidences found basically? So through rocks, fossils. Fossils, they are the small substances which are present on the rocks. Fossils, they are present in the rocks. Fossils are present in rocks, and these are the remains of hard parts of the substances which existed millions of years ago. Fossils, by the use of fossils only, we are able to identify which organisms lived before us. So there are also fossils of extinct species like dinosaurs. By that only we were able to identify that dinosaurs existed millions of years ago, or else we will not know that there was some species called as dinosaurs in our nature. How we have known? Through their fossils only. They were very large and they used to move from one place to another, and numerous eggs also were found of dinosaurs. So how these all were identified? By the use of fossils only they were identified. Where are these fossils found? They are mostly found on the rocks basically. So basically in the rocks numerous fossils were found. What are these fossils? They are the remains of hard parts. Remains of hard parts which existed millions of years ago. which existed. So these are the evidences for the evolution process. This full study of fossils is called as paleontology. So paleontological evidence is a must to prove for what are the organisms which existed millions of years ago. So that study is called as paleontology. Paleontological evidence. Paleontological evidence was given. So this is about the evidences of the evolution. So fossils basically they are usually derived from that of rocks. What are these fossils? They are remains of hard parts of the organisms which existed millions of years ago. Like numerous extinct species like dinosaurs and all, we are able to find out through these fossils only. So these fossils play an important role in the evidences of the evolution. Then later this study of the evolutionary process is called as paleontology, and this evidence is called as paleontological evidence. So this is about the introduction to evidences of evolution. Then later there are two types of paleontological evidences, that is nothing but convergent as well as divergent. So first when we start with divergent evolution, suppose you see the forelimbs. Forelimbs means hands of bats, whales, bats, cheetah, humans. What will happen if you see whales, bats, cheetah, humans, all will have phalanges, carpals. See, wrist bones are called as carpals, as well as the metacarpals, 5 fingers, as well as in those phalanges and all, and numerous bones. Everything are common to all these 4 organisms. So that is the similarity which helps to identify they all belong to the same group. So basically they are all called as homologous organs, because they share the similar anatomy but different structures. They share the similar anatomy but different structures. That is similarity but different functions, you can say exactly. They share this different functions. So similar anatomy means whales, bats, cheetah, humans, everyone will have 4 limbs. Everyone will have carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, and they are called as homologous because their anatomy is similar. They all have same type of hand but their function is different. Suppose for whales, they help in swimming. For humans, they help in doing some exercises and all work, and you can do anything with hands. When it comes to cheetah as well as bats, their role is separate for flying, for swimming, for flying, we for walking. So these all basically functions are different but anatomy is similar. So this is called as divergent evolution. All these organs are called as homologous organs, as well as they share similar anatomy but different functions. So this is about the divergent evolution, which is the most common example that is given in Neet point of view. Important Neet question. Every alternative year they'll ask about divergent evolution in this chapter. Divergent evolution as well as convergent evolution important in Neet point of view. Whales, bats, cheetah, humans. Everyone imagine them. They all have same structure but different functions they will perform. As well as, so that's why they are called as divergent evolution, as well as homologous. Homologous, why they are called? Because they appear similar but function is different, and they're classified under divergent. So that point you should remember. In the next class we will see about the convergent evolution. Okay.